Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is fishing vlog number 77, and the first bit of good news for today is I don't need to use this anymore. This is the cray light I put together. It was what I needed to charge my phone. I've had to use it for almost a year now, and it was getting to the point where I had put so much pressure on the connector that I was actually getting concerned that I might end up cracking the phone. But fortunately, my contract is up now, and I have a new phone, of which you're going to see all the footage from this point forward is going to be from it. One of the things I had to change though is this is the gimbal I use for all the still shots I do. Well, actually all the recording I do where I'm not hanging out with my hands as I am doing right now. And the angle for the camera is different. As you can see, the slot I had grooved out before. That's where the old one was. And this one, as you can see, goes along the side of the camera instead. So it's just a simple matter of routing that out. And that crack you see there almost got me to the point where I was going to make a new one, and I may still get around to that. I had dropped this on the floor 6 or 7 months ago, and it still works, so it's perfectly fine for the moment, but I actually may have to get to the point where I replace that. So I'm going to start off today with a few plants. And this is footage from the new phone, and I actually really like the clarity. Let me know in the comments below what you think. I mean, it does give a really nice picture, and I couldn't be actually happier with it. Not just because I can, charge my phone with ease now, but also I don't have to transfer the files by Wi-Fi. I can actually connect it directly to the computer, and that takes 1/10 the time. So making videos is much quicker, and I was very happy about that whole thing. So these plants are doing really well, as you can see. They are growing quite well, and I really do need to start taking cuttings off of these and spreading them around a little bit more and getting more pots going. One of the many things that I need to do in my fish room that I just haven't gotten to yet, but I will. I mean, there's always lots of work, and I will get to as much as possible. The last week, of course, I've been spending so much time on the pond that I hadn't got to these sorts of things. This is doing really well. You can see new leaves are going up, and the tank is still crystal clear, and I really like this shot. I mean, this shows how well the camera works. The zebra danios, everybody in this tank just looks so much sharper. Like I said, I'm really happy with this. This is going to improve a lot of my fish room recording, and hopefully you guys get to enjoy much better shots like this. So this is probably the last nail in the coffin for this. I haven't got any hints from you guys on what you want me to do with this filter, but I am going to do something for that next week. The hornwort is definitely dying off now, and I'm definitely going to replace it with something else. I'm not sure. We'll figure out that as it goes along. And I just wanted to show you the rest of this here because, first off, I really like that male platy, and I just want to show it to you. And of course, I wanted to show you how well this is growing. Like I said, I was just playing around a little bit with a new toy and getting to see how it all worked. This is actually starting to grow really nicely, but I've noticed one thing in this particular thing, this particular filtration system, and I think that the lights for this is a little bit too much for the Java fern. It is getting a little bit burnt on the ends. There's one more thing I want to try first, which is to extend the airlift that goes in this to give it a little bit more humidity in the top part, but they're looking a lot more pale than they should be. There's a clip coming up here after I do a comparison for the growth here, and as you can see on the left is when I first got them, and now you can see how well that the pennywort is doing, and I'm very happy with it. It's growing quite nicely. So I am going to either reduce the number of hours that light is on, or I'm going to have to do something else. I'll figure that out. I'm going to give it more humidity to start off with, because this is the color that the Java fern should be. And there's no reason there should be any difference between this tank and the one next door, except of course all the extra lighting. So I need to do something with that. It is a lot more pale than it should be. They're growing fine. I mean, it's not like they're going to die or anything, but I am getting some black tips at the top. But that also could be, again, a humidity issue, so we'll have to see. And I wanted to show you this because I am neglecting my pruning a little bit. This is the Guppy Fry Tank, and I had meant I was going to thin this out a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of a water change here in a second because I had moved a lot of those fry over to the pond. And you're going to see there's an awful lot of red Luigi in here. And again, I just really need to get to the point where I prune this back. But fortunately, I have tons of room in the pond, and I do want to put stuff in the pots in that. So it'll give me plenty of a chance to thin this out and give more room for the fry. And I wanted to show you these guys simply because they're getting a little less skittish. So they are actually letting me approach the aquarium now without all of them darting to the back. This is just before I fed, so I wanted to show you the guppies as well, of course. And then I got a shot coming up of this tank again after I fed, and there's more of them out, so we'll get to see that. It'll come up in, I think it's the next clip. So this is after I had thinned out the fry, and you can still see there's still an awful lot in here. And again, this is before I fed, so most of them are still spread out through the tank. And I haven't shown you this tank in quite a while. It is in desperate need for a pruning, and not so much in the aquarium itself, but this is the first high humidity planter I ever put together, and I haven't pruned it back in a year and a half now, or maybe a little bit more. And as you can see, it definitely needs it, so I want to get to that sometime this week. So these guys are doing really well. They've had a second batch of fry. I moved all the bigger ones out into the pond, and I didn't actually record any footage of the new fry because they're all hiding back by the under gravel filter. So, but they're in there and they're doing fine, so we'll see. Here you go. This is a better look at the cories. They're really a nice batch. They're only bronze corridors, but I actually like cories. They're a nice, interesting fish, and hopefully in the next little while they'll become more accustomed to having me wander around in the fish room, and they won't all just scurry into the back when I go by. So you can see a couple more coming out. I think in total I have 6, and I'm pretty sure I have in that I'll at least a pair. But you know, they'll breed in a group like this anyway, so keep my eye open. They're a little young yet, but hopefully they will mature up a little bit in the next few weeks or months, and they'll start laying eggs. And I really would like to have a really large number of cories, so we'll see how that goes. I wanted to show you this whole tank. I've never really given you a look at this tank in a long time. There's really nothing in it except 2 very large goldfish, and they're a pair, and I get a lot of, well, I've bred them twice now. I'm probably going to breed them again because all their offspring currently are going to go into another aquarium. I just wanted to show it to you because not all my tanks are all fully planted and everything, so it's just like a bare bones setup for keeping them nice and happy. And as you can see, this is beginning to settle out fairly well. It's got a long ways to go, of course. It needs considerably more in the way of tannic acids in this, but the water's clear, and he seems quite happy. And I need to probably make a cylinder or some sort of container to put a female in here sometime in the near future. Give him a reason to get excited about everything, and of course I need to put a heater in this as well. So it's doing well, and as you see, it's again, it is a work in progress, and I'll definitely be showing you lots of clips of this as time goes on. It's going to hopefully work out for me to breed some betta, so I have some nice fish. It's just going to be a simple matter now of getting them to reproduce without killing each other, which is always a problem with bettas. So this is the 7-foot tank, and again, as I've been saying pretty much all through this whole video, I need to do a bunch of work in this tank. It is clear, and the 2 filters, the big brother and the little one, are doing quite well. I haven't had any issues with this tank at all. It just needs to be aquascaped a bit more. I need to take out a fair amount of the Java moss, and I'm going to take out that box filter in the back now because these 2 filters are doing very well, so I don't really need the extra filtration in here. And of course I need to put in some plants in pots. I mean, I have plenty of them in a lot of other aquariums that are getting quite overcrowded, so there's no real reason for me not to be able to make this look a little bit nicer, and at least have it so I can have plants for clients and stuff like that. So work to do in this tank for sure, and it's got a lot of space in it, and unfortunately for last week I've been working on the pond. So, and the last clip of course is going to be of it. So I'm going to show you one more of Ripley here, and she's doing very well. I mean, there's nothing, she's actually a really lovely little fish, but I'm noticing that her siblings, as you can see here, are outgrowing her, which is not a surprise. All the other ones that weren't growing well or had, you know, misshaped fins, things that that would, you know, trigger them for not being part for as good breeders. I've already pulled out, so she is the last. And I mean, she's doing very well. She's very active and everything. But again, she is not going to be as big as her siblings for sure. So here we go, the pond. The guppies are starting to get used to this. This is only like 2 or 3 days after I had put them in. But they're starting to go all over the place, and near the end of this clip you're going to see they're all a nice big school because they expect I'm going to feed them, and you'll get to see that. So there you go. This is my new week in the fish room, so let me know what you think. Leave comments as always. Thank you ever so much for coming by and watching what I do. I always really do appreciate that, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now. This is the clip I was talking about. I really like this angle. This shows the fry off so well, and as you can see there is still one white cloud in there. Alright, I'll talk to you later, and bye for now.